Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can create procedural trees in Blender 3.3 Alpha. You can get the file for Adobe on Gumroad through the link in the description. So let's get started. As always, I'm using this HDRI, the link to that is in the description. First let's hit Shift A and add a plane. Go to Geometry Nodes, close this window and click on New. Delete the group input and add a volume cube. Connect the volume to the geometry and add a volume to mesh. And now let's add a set shade smooth, this one, and a set material. Go to the material properties, click on new and select the material here. Now let's add a mix RGB, connect it to the density and add a noise texture. Plug the factor into color 2 and let's set the detail to 15. Now add a gradient texture and plug it into the factor and into color 1. And we also need a Voronoi texture. Connect the distance to the vector and set it to a smooth F1. And let's set the scale to 3. Now let's save. And let's set the resolution to anywhere between 100 and 200. I'm going to set it to 200. We also need to set the gradient texture to quadratic. Now go to shading, hit Shift A and add a color ramp. Connect it to the roughness and bring the black to somewhere around here. I'm also going to go into rendered view. I recommend that you use cycles for this. Now let's add a mix RGB. Connect the color to the factor and add a noise texture. Duplicate it and plug this one into color 1 and the factor, and the other one into color 2. For this one, set the scale to 1000 and the detail to 15. Set the roughness to 0 for both of them, and here also set the detail to 0. Now let's add a subsurface scattering node. And let's also add a mix shader. Put that here and plug the subsurface scattering into the top. Make the color something yellow like this and drag and drop it here. Set the scale to 0.25 and the IOR to 1.35. Copy the IOR. Now paste it in here and down here as well. Let's hit Shift A and add a plane, GZ -1 and S10. Create a new material and set the metallic to 1. Go into layered mode, go into front view by pressing 1 on the numpad and delete to focus on the trees. Now press 6 3 times and 8 3 times on the numpad and let's zoom out like this. Now hit Shift A and add a camera. Ctrl-Alt-0 to go into camera view and GZZ like to move it on the local axis and GZ. Let's go into rendered view and go to the render properties. Under color management, set the look to very high contrast. Let's set an area light. Hit Shift A and area, GZ, move it up like this. And let's move it over here, rotate it on the Z, and now let's rotate it on the X, on the local X by pressing RXX and scale it up. Now let's go into camera view again and go here and let's try 100 under the power and make it slightly yellow. I think I'll move it a little closer by pressing G and Shift Z. Now let's scale it on the local x-axis by pressing S and XX. And let's set the power to 250. I think that's okay. Now add an empty plane axis and go up here, face project, and press G Control. Now the empty will snap to the faces of the Gs, and turn it off again. Select the camera and go to depth of field, enable it and select the empty. I'll set the f-stop to 0.25 and the blades to 16. In the render properties, multiply the max samples by 5 and enable denoise. If you have an NVIDIA GPU, you can use optics, otherwise you are gonna have to use open image denoise. Now go to compositing and enable use nodes. To get these outputs here, you're going to have to enable denoising data here. Then just set a denoise node and set it to accurate. Now let's save again and press F12 to render. So that's it with the tutorial. I hope you liked it. Please let me know what I should do next, and I'll see you next time.